Canada has made great strides in reducing stigma towards mental illness in recent years.
But in some communities, the fear and suspicion of mental health programs continues. Our health reporter Pauline Chen has more now on this challenging area of care. Pauline?
Thanks very much, Ken and Michelle. Well, immigrating to a new country is already a stressful experience, but when you are also dealing with mental health problems, knowing where to go for help is difficult, especially when your family and your culture might be urging you to stay silent. The pressure on Hong Kong students to do well in their exams is legendary, and the family of Ming Kan Leung was no different.
I hear the voice and I could not finish up my examination, so I need to go to the hospital because I have a suicide symptom.
And it took time for his family to accept that he needed regular mental health treatment. Lucy, who doesn't want her real name used, grew up in an emotionally abusive family in Shanghai. She was later diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, but that was only after years of staying silent.
I told my parents, but my parents don't understand what's going on, and they just ignore me.
Dr. Ken Fung is the clinical director of the Asian Initiative in Mental Health at Toronto Western Hospital. And even as a medical student, studying mental illness was frowned upon.
It took a little bit of time for me to convince my family that it is a very important issue.
The hospital also runs a special mental health clinic for the Portuguese community. But what they all have in common is a lingering stigma about dealing with mental health.
They usually have pretty narrow view of mental illness as something that's not talked about, that may be shameful to the person and to the family, may be associated with violence or bad stories in the media.
That's slowly changing, he says, especially with the help of people like Ming Kan, who spoke openly about his experiences at a recent conference. Dr. Fung says speaking the same language, understanding the cultural background, and steady education efforts are all helping as he develops a model of cross-cultural psychiatry. In fact, they've seen hospital admissions among psychiatric patients dramatically reduced since 2002. And they've been successful reintegrating more patients who've been institutionalized for 5 to 10 years back into the community. Ming Kan Leung still takes regular medication for his depression and other disorders. He's working on his degree and, in fact, is working with a student group to promote mental health awareness at York University. With today's Lifetime, I'm Pauline Chan.